Well, good evening, everyone. We are excited to have you on with us tonight. We have an amazing young lady that we're going to be having a discussion with, Shakeima Clark Chatman, and we are excited because she has a lot to say about possessing the land and the I Am Wealth Symposium. So we're not going to be long. We're just going to be strong. We're going to hit some highlights, give you a little bit about who she is, and then we're going to let you get to that. Oh, I hear a background. Do you hear that? Maybe it's
Mm, computer. It sounds airy.
no. I hear like a what is it called? An echo.
I don't hear the echo.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me take you down. 1 second. 1 second. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, I see what's happening. It's on my end. So now I'm going to bring you back.
Okay. Mhm.
The problem is there's too many tabs open on my computer, and that's what's happening. Can you hear me? That's
I
the
can. I
oh
hear you fine. You sound
That's the first time that's happened. But you know what? We aren't all perfect all the time. So either way, we're gonna get started. So thank you so much, Shakima, for being here this evening. We want to make sure that we keep it amazing for our audience that's listening in. I want to read your bio really quickly before we get started. It says, as the owner of the Chatman Group and a broker associate with Keller Williams Realty, Shakeima Clark Chapman's mission is to help everyone and every individual to possess the land as God has promised them. A 1996 graduate of South Carolina State University, she holds a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education in her professional career. Shakeima has served in several roles in education, corporate training, and software consulting before starting her real estate career in the spring of 2017. She released the Possess the Land Home Buyer Workshop. Shakima has also hosted an affordable housing town hall meeting to address the shortage of affordable housing in the Charleston and surrounding area. Recognized multiple years as a top producing realtor of distinction, her real estate career also affords her the flexibility to develop and nurture her true passion and vision, mentoring teenage girls through her nonprofit organization, Divas in Training, whose mission is to bring out the moral excellence in teenage girls so that they can aspire for success, power, and honor. The organization's Dream Sparkle Shine conference has inspired and empowered over 1,000 girls over a 5 year period. Her previous professional organizational commitments include serving on the boards of the Charleston Trident Associate of Realtors and the South Carolina Associate of Realtors. A member of Royal Missionary Baptist Church, she serves on the board of directors of the Royal Foundation and is the vice president of the Wellness on Wednesdays committee. My goodness, Zion, you do a lot.
But you know what I always say at the heart of who I am? I'm just a little black girl from Spruce Avenue who God showed a lot of favor.
That's wonderful, wonderful. I definitely understand that favor, and everybody
Yeah.
don't have that. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that and talk about I the part that I love the most because everybody, if you don't know this already, is that Shakeem and I go way back like a train track, like for real, for real. Like I've
Mhm.
known her since like middle
Like
school,
middle school. Middle
right?
school.
Oh, I know. We went to the same middle school, but I think we kind of met in college. I think is what
Yeah.
happened. But either way, no, we did. We talked because it was Tatum, right? Was it Tatum in the
Yeah.
group?
No,
Yes.
Tatum wasn't in our school. You
Oh,
at
okay.
Normandy too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so at
You
the end
at
of the
Brentwood.
day, she definitely was a part of my journey all of my life somewhere around the North Charleston area. And even more so when I returned out of the military, Shakima was the very first person to sell me property in South Carolina, which was a rental property. And so she helped me build wealth. And that I have a special place in my heart for her because of that. She could tolerate me because I was not really, really the best client in the world when it came to like and the reason why Shakima, I've never told you this, but one of the reasons why I never became a realtor is because I never wanted to meet me. I never wanted to have a client like me because I said if I get a client like me, I don't know how I'll do it. So I honestly, that's my honest to God, like that's the reason why I didn't do it. So you are a hero to help me, someone that's kind of hard to work with, to find. How do you do that? How do you work with like hard to work with clients like me?
Well, my background at state was elementary education, and one thing they teach us It's funny how I went to school for education, taught for a little while, but I still use the tools. And one thing they taught us is to adapt to different learning styles. So in a sales profession, you just have to understand your client. There are some clients that they want all the touch and feels of the house. And then there are people like you that I don't need the touch and feels, I need the bottom line number. And so you just really have to understand how to adjust to your client. That's all.
Well, you have a gift and a charm when you're working with clients and you make them feel like, of course,
Mhm.
that their questions and concerns are important, but
It
you
is.
want to keep it real. And that's what I like about you the most, because you're very honest
Mhm.
and transparent and direct,
Mhm.
but still, you're going to give all the facts and all the options. Like, you are well versed in what it is that you do. You're a true professional. And I knew that you were the one for me because how I was and how you could still maneuver around the many challenges I knew I was throwing your way. And so I feel like you have that skill of adaptability when it comes to working with clients, and everybody doesn't have that skill.
And
So
it's necessary, and not only adaptability, it's important too. Even when I talk on the 25th, you want to work with someone who is a student of the market, because markets fluctuate, markets change, and advice I give you today is not the same advice I may have given someone, even 3 months before. So you want to work with someone, especially when you're talking about the investment side, like we're going to be talking at the I Am Wealth Symposium. You want someone who's studying the market, who understand market statistics, because they're going to be instrumental in helping you make a decision on how to proceed. You know, real estate is good to invest in, but just like the stock market, there are certain times you invest, there's certain times you hold, there's certain times you sell, and so you need to understand all aspects of that investment.
yeah, and so you've had quite a bit of success. You've been doing this for quite some time, and I know that you're a coach. Tell us a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about that, and will you be discussing that at the symposium? What will you be discussing
So
at the symposium?
yeah, so more of my coaching is around helping other agents build their businesses. And I wanted to do that because, unfortunately, coming into the business as a Black woman, everyone wasn't forthgiving with information, unfortunately. And I never wanted to be that person. And so,
Right,
any agents that I mentor will always tell me, newer agents, I latch on to them, make sure they get started. And so that's what my coaching is around. But what I'm going to be talking about on the 25th is acquiring real estate to build wealth and the different options. And how do you start? That's usually the question that people
yes,
have. How do you start just investing? And I will talk about the steps to get started, the pros and benefits. There are a few ways to invest in real estate, but for the time that I have, I'm only going to cover three. I'm going to cover holding rentals like you did when you started. I'm going to cover flipping, and then I'm also going to cover doing short term. I think a lot of people are interested in short term rentals like Airbnb. So I'm
yes.
going to talk about how do you get started. I'm also going to talk about the pros and cons of each, because
Oh, I
I
love that.
really believe that
Mhm.
a real estate agent is really your consultant, right? We
Yes,
are giving you the information for you to make an informed decision. And so that's what I want to start laying out, giving people information so that they can kind of look at what they have going on and decide what's the best way for them to jump into the real estate market. And you should, right?
right,
If you look at any wealthy person's portfolio, you're going to find real estate somewhere in there, because
yeah,
it's a great way to, even if you're an investor in real estate, if you just buy the house that you live in, you're an investor in real estate because you're building equity. They show that people who have properties versus people who have rent have over 10 times more net worth than someone who rents.
right.
Because you
Absolutely.
got to pay to live somewhere, right? You got
You
to pay
gotta
to live
pay.
somewhere.
Might as
So
well be
why not?
yours. Yeah.
Exactly.
Why not house
Exactly.
hacking? Are you going to touch on house hacking?
Um, I can't, kind of in the rental side. Unfortunately, Charleston is not a huge market for it, simply
Yeah.
because, like, I'm sure, like in the DC area, duplexes and multifamily units are at affordable rates here. A
Mhm.
lot of times, multifamily units here are usually in price points that could be expensive, or the areas may not be as attractive now. So I can't explain how house hacking works, but unfortunately, Charleston is not a huge house hacking market like you probably heard in like the Midwest or like a DC where duplexes are common. Unfortunately, and it also attributes to what we see as far as our infrastructure and the crowdedness of where we live. We haven't really embraced in density. Fortunately,
Right.
everyone wants a single family home here. When, like what Shatika's talking about, house hacking, you could get a duplex, you live on one side, and your tenants pay your mortgage. So definitely will explain that from the rental aspect. But
Okay.
unfortunately, it's really not a big, a huge thing here simply because the duplexes that you're looking at are downtown Charleston, $1 million investment.
Right.
Or some areas, the duplexes is like, I don't know if I want to live here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely can be tough because it's not as plentiful as it is in other areas and other
Yeah.
markets. But definitely, I appreciate the fact that you're doing what you're doing to help people to learn about, how they can possess the land. Your book is incredible. You put a lot of great work into this book as well. Are you going to be bringing some of these books with you to be able to showcase?
I do have a few. I do have a few
Yeah.
that
Because
I
if you
can
don't
bring
have this
along.
book, you need to get this book. This is a
And if you don't
beautiful
have
book.
it, shameless plug, it's on Amazon. So it's a little
Yes.
easier to distribute on Amazon. When we first came out, Shatika, will you believe the book is now 6 years old? I wrote it in
It's a long
2017.
time. It doesn't seem that long.
Yeah, 2000. And literally, God put me in a chokehold to write that book. Like, literally, gave me the idea, but it took me a period of praying and fasting to even finish it. So I know the revelations are truly from God, and even how He
Yes.
painted the picture for me. So, those that aren't familiar, how He painted the picture for me of how God gave the children of Egypt a commandment to leave their bondage in Egypt. And the way I write the book is I show you how renting can put you in bondage, and how when you make that decision to leave that bondage, just like the children of Israel, sometimes you run into giants. So we talk about what are the giants that usually stop people, and you're usually the big three: credit, lack of savings, and debt. So we talk about it from that standpoint. So definitely we'll talk about, how to set yourself up to be able to invest in real estate, because unfortunately you'll hear people on some like Clubhouse or like some of these forums, and they sell you the dream, but you still have to have your ducats in a row and things aligned to really be able to participate in these wealth opportunities. So what kind of cash flow or what kind of credit do you need to have access to these things? I mean, the U.S. system is set up based on credit and cash, so you just need to understand how to tap into those things.
Right, right. So I love everything that you're saying because all of that can position a person to get ready for retirement. Of course,
Mhm.
that's one of the. I said that on the little news thing that we did. That every one of the women that are here are going to be talking about some aspect of how you can position yourself for retirement. Everything you just said is primarily just around that, and I like that you are, a woman of faith as well. So one of the other things is that all of us on this speaker platform pretty much are believers, and so people that are faith based, you can definitely glean from that as well. Not that we'll be chiming on that more so
Right.
than, of course, wealth, but it's good to know the core values of the people that you're going to be hearing at the actual symposium. And she has a
And
lot of,
just knowing who we are, two little
yes,
girls from North Charleston, we're the perfect people to spread this message, right?
yes,
I always say time and time again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I don't know
yes.
about you, we weren't having wealth conversations at my dinner table.
No, not at all.
Right. It was, make sure the lights stay on and the bills are paid. So I love the position that God, and I tell my story. I had a good time in college, and
Yes.
after college, I did made a lot of dumb decisions, and so my credit was so jacked up when I was ready to buy a house. And I love the position that God has put me in to help people understand that you can recover from those things
Yes.
and
Yes.
still tap into. You got to be willing to do the work, but
Yes.
still, still tap in. So this wealth symposium is really an opportunity for everyone. A lot of times we don't participate in conversations like this because we think we need to look a certain way or we need to have a certain amount of money in the bank account. But to me, that's like getting well before you go to the hospital, right?
Right. That's right.
Come get the information so that you
Yes.
can be, and we're perfect examples of people who didn't start with much and just, leveraging information,
But
really
to be
leveraging information.
But to be honest with you, there are people that make quite a bit of money that need to be there, right? You
That's
can make
true.
6 figures, 7 figures, and because your cash flow is not where it need to be, you need to be there for sure. So
Mm.
we got the full gamut of people that don't have anything to be able to invest or to be able to do anything with, to people that have an abundance, because you still don't know how to position your money to be able to continue to be preserved, protected, and growing. So those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about. So Shakima, you bring up some really good points. It really is about how do we collaborate and collectively be able to get the message over to you, because all of us have some holes in our financial wellness that we probably need to need to renew, and then we can meet someone there that maybe have a strategy or that we can
Hmm.
partner with. This is primarily for all people, but ideally for business owners and leaders, right? So you may be a business owner and you don't have all your financials together and you need some tips, and so Shakima can help you with that, and all of the other speakers can help you with that. So any other final parting words that you have for the people here that are be watching this replay? Or why they need to
Just
come out?
yeah, come out, be open, as Shatika explained. And that is a powerful statement that you made, because sometimes we do start making money and don't have a clue. I know for me, I'm so excited that you have my tax strategist on there, because she was like, girlfriend, you are throwing and blowing money. We need to get you together. So
Yes.
that is true, because coming from some of the backgrounds we come from, we're not taught
Right.
we're not taught how to keep and retain our money. And unfortunately, for some of us, we feel that is expressed through luxury items, right? But
Yes.
how do we actually make, and that's where I am, girl. I'm coming up on 50 soon. And so I'm at the
Oh,
point
what?
where, yeah, well, you're not that far behind me. You should be right
No,
there with me. I'm
52.
48. I'll be 4. No, I said I'm coming up on 50 soon. Soon.
Oh,
Soon.
girl.
Yeah, I'll be 49. You're not that far
I
behind
know
me,
I'm
if
not.
I'm
I know
not
you said 52. I want to say,
mistaken.
you're not 52?
No, and my point is,
Yes.
I'm getting to a season of my life where I don't want to work forever. And
Right.
so now
Yeah.
it's about, where do I put the money and stop trading time for money into avenues where my money starts making money for me. So if you want to get to the point where you're no longer trading time for money,
Yes.
you
Yes.
need to definitely be there.
Absolutely. Listen, we got to get on the right side of money, because 95% of people are on the wrong side of money. And the reason is because we weren't taught that, to your point, at the kitchen table. And I definitely wasn't taught that with a whole MBA. Okay. So it didn't
Mm,
teach me how to do a lot of the things, or learn some of the things that we're going to be learning at the symposium. That's the whole reason why we're having it, because you can
mm,
reach a certain status, but the Bible even says there's a fool and the money will soon part. So
mm.
how do you keep that money? That's the main, one of the main conversations we have to have there. And I'm so happy that Leona has accepted the charge to be there, to be able to communicate
And
with.
I'm excited. I'm not to overly promote my session, but real estate is one of the fastest vehicles to wealth, right? So
Yes.
you definitely want to come and see how you can tap in and kind of get that fast train to wealth.
Yes, absolutely. But listen, we are out of time, but we are so excited to have you, Shakima, with all of your accolades and what you're going to share. I can't wait to see you present. And so if you have not registered already, we want you to go to IamWealthSymposium.com so you can hear all these dynamic speakers and what it is that they're going to be sharing. And listen, we're not going to have enough time, but at least you're going to be able to collaborate and get some questions answered
Mhm.
and those types of things. So definitely, if you haven't registered, register and send us an email on what you want to hear. We're going to try to accommodate that through Monday. Through
Yeah.
Monday, send your email with any questions that you want to see answered, and we'll make sure that they're covered as much as possible during the actual presentations. If and yeah, so anything else? If not, we're done speaking for today. We have another one here in about 30 minutes. We'll be bringing
Mhm.
Emma on, and then we will be done with all speakers with
And
this
it's Ema. It's Ema. It's pronounced Ema.
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 So we'll have her next week. Not Ema, but we'll have, actually I have to say that to her several times. She never said anything. But we'll have Miss oh, I just had a brave part just that quick. I got it right here. Miss Janet Tompkins. We're going to have
Oh,
her on next Wednesday. So she's definitely going to be here having a quick conversation. She's one of our speakers coming from Baltimore. So definitely tune in next week for her as well. And that's it. That accommodates all of our speakers. We want you to get registered as much as possible by this coming Monday. And you probably will be hearing it on the radio soon. So it's not something you want to
well,
sleep on, because when we're out of seats, we are out of
yeah.
seats and we cannot make any more. And you cannot come
And
to the door.
sadly, Charleston tends to wait to the last minute. Y'all don't do that. Don't do
Yeah,
that.
don't do it.
Jump on it.
So listen, you do not want to not register by the time the seats run out, because I cannot help you. You cannot come to the facility because you know where it's located and say, I need a ticket. We will not allow that. We're going to do things in decency and in order. So we'll see you there because you have registered in time. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you. Have a great night.